Hey guys, what is going on? Russ here, and welcome back to episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary, where today we are jumping back into Cards TV, of course, seeing how the ladder is going for the June season, seeing how well people are doing, what kind of decks people are running. And I don't want to kind of stall here, I just kind of want to jump into matches, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in directly to match number 1. Alright guys, so moving into match number 1 here, we've got Wader taking on Fragstar, Ninja Druid going up against Warlock Ninja. We'll see how this goes, of course, jumping into it. Looks like we don't really have a turn 1 play from Wader here, although we do see King Kaiju, so I'm very excited to see if maybe this is, a Kaiju-based deck, something along the lines of that. Potentially, I'm not sure, just based on the cards right now, but we'll see Wader open up with the Mischievous Imp Frag, passing his first and second turns, so it's going to allow for some early damage here from the Imps, or from the Imp. We will see a second one, though, so there is that. We'll see if maybe Frag has a response to this. Looks like he will not. Alright, interesting. So that's going to allow for more damage to come in here. A huge chunk taken out from Frag early on in the matchup here, down to 7 points already. We'll see him open with this turn, though, pretty strongly. Hassan City Guard going to do the work to clear off both of those Imps, of course, with 1 health apiece. Hassan City Guard makes for a good trade with that, and follows up with the Throne of the Emperor. So, of course, that kind of hints that Frag is rocking a bounce deck here, although we are going to see a very preemptive blue Firebolt on the side of Wader, taking down a huge chunk of that throne, although I'm not sure if maybe that was the right call. We will see a Shadow Dance Rat King combination come out now, so starting to get some rats on the board for Frag. We do see Wader's got the Dragon's Fire, so I'm not really worried for him at this point, but regardless, we'll see how the game plays out. Wader takes his turn just with the Masuda, no need to kind of be aggressive with the fears. We'll see, maybe he hopefully uses that to bring out Kaiju early. We are going to see Keeper instead, though, a little disappointing, but still going to be able to do a lot of work here, potentially with all of these rats on board. We will see a Ranger come out as a response, though, to that Keeper here, but another Fear pull, I believe. Oh, well, here's the play. He's going to fear into another fear, which will fear the Ranger back all the way, allowing the Keeper to kind of get into these rats to essentially build up more of an undead presence here. Horseman pops the castle for more damage. That's going to be very nice. I think he was hoping for the armory, though, to kind of force more interaction with that Keeper. But regardless, we are going to see that, and of course, a bit of a threatening position here does Wader have. He can move in the Horseman, of course, at any point to push in the big chunk and pretty much wait for sudden death here. But we are going to see another Rat King Shadow Dance combination come out, followed by a Rat King Flash Grenade bounce, which is not something you see every day, but that does do enough to get rid of the Horseman and kind of alleviate that threat from the board here. So Wader now has to work with no Horseman, but still a lot of rats. He pulls out the Dragon's Fire at this point. I think maybe he could have held on to it personally, because of course you know that Rat King is back in the hand, so there are more rats there. But I understand maybe he didn't want Frag to build any kind of threatening position here, so he goes for the preemptive Dragon's Fire. Follows up with a Call for Aid, does Fragstar on his next turn with the Dragon Knight. Going to take out the Lumberjack up top there, which is all well and good. We will see, though, probably a trade across the board here for Wader. We can see the Masuda going to go into the Dragon Knight. We will see the Salahar Rider come out as well, but like I said, here's the trade first. And of course, after all of this trades nicely, he will actually, I believe, use the General to pop that Faithful Drake as well, giving him board control here, plus a little bit of Salahar Rider damage, which does connect to the Throne of Emperor, taking it out of the game, and pushing up another Rider while he's at it. So really trying to push in for that last 4 bits of damage there. And it's, I mean, it could be pretty useful that you have General Rider. That could, of course, pop a lot of last will effects here. We will get, though, the Rat King, like we mentioned, that Fragstar was holding, followed up by the Ranger and an Elvish Hunter. So Elvish Hunter seems pretty scary, but I assume that's going to be hemorrhaged immediately, if I remember correctly. Yep, so there is the hemorrhage popping onto the Hunter, getting rid of that with the Salahar Rider Last Will. So that's actually completely taken out of the game at this point. Follows up the Blacksmith after retreating the Salahar Rider and Arcanon General, as well as throwing out the Wraith from that Keeper earlier. And I think he wants to make, or at least he's hoping for Frag to make more of a push here. He doesn't necessarily do it yet, though. Frag going to reset with another Elvish Hunter. Brings up another Ranger, again, to kind of threaten the board a little bit here. Third Fear comes out, though, does push the forward-most ranger away from the action. Andrew comes out. I mean, no, I guess I kind of have to agree with it, even though I would have liked to see personally the Kaiju come out. Just out of bias at that point, but we will see the Rangers starting to come in now. We notice the castle is at 2 points of health, which is not going to really, well, which is really going to be the reason why Frag loses this game here. As you can see, sudden death activates here. It doesn't really matter what Wader does, because the last bit will tick out for Frag. So that will give Wader the game here in our opening match. Very nice to see what I assume is a Kaiju's Will deck making an appearance on the ladder. It's been a while since I've seen one of those pop up, but of course I've been working on some new ideas personally for Kaiju's Will. I'm not ready to share those ideas yet, but it's good to see that the Kaiju's Will is getting some love on the ladder. But with that being said, after a solid match number 1 and a congrats to Wader for his win, let's go ahead and jump into match number 2 and see how that match plays out. Alright, so moving into match number 2 now, we've got Skyan taking on Reno63. Hopefully I pronounced that last name correctly. We've got a Viking Warlock taking on Pirate Warlock here in the contest. Let's see how things go here as we jump into the matchup. It looks like both players don't have a turn 1. Well, I say that, but of course Skyan still has to make a move here. But it looks like he doesn't have it. So it does give Reno the first play here with his Ship of the Damned here. We can already pretty much see that this is going to be a Swarm buff based deck. You've got Fat Bard, Armory, Rat King in the hand, plus the Ship of the Damned, of course, to produce more units here. And we'll see a Metal Wizard from Skyan to respawn. A pretty strong opener. That means Reno not going to be able to push in as aggressively as he wants to. Of course, I'm going to put in the Rat King to move a couple of pieces there. I would have liked to see that Rat King pushed a little more forward here, as you'll understand why momentarily. Of course, Wizard makes the Rat kill and just pass it back to Reno. And Reno, unfortunately, doesn't have the buffs to kind of be enough to take out the Wizard here. If he had one more gold, could have thrown that Fat Bard to do the final blow onto the Wizard here. But he will push all of his units here, which is quite aggressive. He's hoping to kind of kill out that Wizard, but Rat King does meet that play, or yeah, does meet that play. English is correct there. And of course, the Rats are going to start making some trades all over the board here. Of course, Rats for Rats, and of course, the Rat Kings will, make their connection as well, leaving Reno with just a Skeletal Pirate here, which I believe he retreats and just sets up an Armory for his turn 5 play. Yep, there it is. There is the Armory. And of course, throwing it back to Skyan. He's got 3 gold, but ultimately that's going to be enough to use a Blue Firebolt, so there goes Reno's Armory. Unfortunate, but we know that he's got another one in hand, so hopefully not too detrimental to him. We'll see the Maddie plus Acolyte combo, I believe, here to kind of set up and be intimidating, if I remember correctly, right? Yep, there is that setup here, and we'll see how Skyan responds to this one. He's got 4 gold this time, of course, not 6, because of that upkeep, but instead goes for an Armory, follows up with the removal of the Maddie on the Wizard, holds back the Rat King, which you'll understand why in a moment, and of course, Armory plus Blacksmith going to be the combo to take out the Wizard. Nicely done there, but we will see a big shift in the play for Skyan here. Opens up a turn 7 move with a big combo. Rat King Mystic Journey hits the board. Very deadly, very dangerous. Of course, Blue Fire following up on the Armory. Going to mean a whole lot of better trades are going to come in Skyan's favor here. Acolyte goes down, Sea Witch goes down. Skeletal Pirate trades, leaving Blacksmith to deal with a ton of rats. So we do see the Rat King in Reno's hand. That's going to be the equalizer here, at least for now. We will see a couple of rats making some trades across the board here. Personally, I would have liked to see Blacksmith make a trade at this point, or not a trade, but make a kill, so that way you're not sacrificing all the rats. I mean, Blacksmith can be used in that sense, but we are going to see a Gravestalker follow up that Rat King play, although Skyan going to equally meet that with the Dragon's Fire for his big move there. That's going to clear off the board, which he will quickly, put in his favor with the Lumberjack being thrown out there. We will see Acolyte followed up with the Fat Bard in Reno's response. We do see a big problem with the Swarm buff in Pirate Warlock right now is that they don't, if they expend the resources too much, they don't have the draw to keep up. As we can see, Reno's got only 1 card to Skyan's 4. Now, really 2 in Reno's hand, but still, going to force to be use the Mordok here to deal with the, deal with the Yarm. It pulls out the Headless Horseman, which of course is going to bop the Yarm. Not enough to kill it off with the Acolyte. I don't know if that movement up there was a misplay, but of course, I mean, it is smart to kind of keep him up, maybe not forward, but I mean up in the sense that he doesn't generate more lightning value. Drake Dance, though, after a Flame Shield Berserker cleans up the Acolyte there, and of course Yarm with the Lightning Blade going to make some big lightning moves here. We do see Reyno have an opportunity to take out the Berserker with the Hassan City Guards, but unfortunately does not play the correct combos here. Goes for the Wraith onto the Berserker. I'm not sure if that was to hopefully maybe burn off the, or a little bit of burn on the castle here and force the Berserker to make the trade into Hassan City Guard. But we do see the big mistake here of setting up all of this chain. Second Yarm Giant from Skyan going to be doing a huge amount of chain damage to pretty much end the game, clearing the board. And yeah, I mean, Reyno has the ability to draw something that has to attack, but unfortunately Guard not going to be it. You could argue Guard has to attack, true, but of course in two separate units he has to attack twice, and that will kind of, you know, be negated by the fact that Berserker gains for every attack, so really couldn't do the additional 2 damage that you need to end the game. So Skyan does win here in our second matchup here, very powerful, going to show what Chain, not only Chain can do, but Rat King Mystic Journey, very underutilized combo that we kind of just saw in here make a big impact, and yeah, very dangerous stuff that card combo can produce, if that's the right English for it. But with that being said, guys, we have one more match to go. Match number 3. Let's see how that one plays out. Congrats to Skyan for taking the win here, but let's jump in to match number 3. Alright, and jumping into game number 3 now, we've got rBloodyMary with the Viking Pirate taking on CampingCody with a similar Viking Pirate combo here. We'll see which one prevails in the faction mirror matchup here. We will see probably, I think none of them have a turn 1 play. Mary does have a turn 2, though, coming out with the Warrior. We'll see if Cody has a response to that. We're going to see him open up with a Hassan City Guard. Not necessarily the immediate trade, but that still does make a trade regardless. We'll see if Mary decides to push forward. Does the Warrior is pushed forward despite having not really a lot to back it up with, so we will see Hassan City Guard trade with the Warrior, maybe reanimate play. Nope, we're going to see Sharpshooter come out from Cody. We're probably going to see Mary respond with an Onslaught onto that Dwarven Sharpshooter. Yep, there's the Onslaught, not only neutralizing it, but giving the draw as well. And there we see it wins the Nord, so maybe a Windy Hooks deck. I'm not too sure as of yet. Can't really tell based on this alone, but we are going to see maybe some Nord action in this matchup. We will see Sharpshooter take a chunk, a little chip, not really a chunk, but a chip out of the castle there. Mary responds with a Banshee Rat Hovel combination there. Going to push or destroy the Master Thief, killing off Cody's push. We'll see turn 6. Cody decides to go into the Rune Warrior. Not a card you see often, but follows up with Thrill of the Victory. So hoping to grow up a big boy here. Mary does not have a lot to respond to that Rune Warrior. Decides to put a Disable onto it. That's fine. Follows up with the Dino Rider as well. But we are going to see a big play from Cody here, I believe, right? Yep, there is the Ludicrous Strength coming down, plus the Phantom Strike. So really going to start to build up this Rune Warrior here. And yeah, we're going to see the Dino Rider be taken out in that one shot. The Rune Warrior grows to a 8/7 just like that. And of course, Mary has no responses to it, no removal, no additional debuffs. So yeah, going to be problematic to kind of, deal with this Rune Warrior. We are going to see a big kicker in the fact that Dwarven Scope plus Battle Ready decides to get thrown onto that Rune Warrior as well. We are going to see a nice little pushback to create some Chain Lightning chip damage. And of course, that Rune Warrior continuing to grow. Reminds me of Brynjolf, honestly. Like, when I saw this matchup and I saw the kind of plays that are happening here, as I watch the Rune Warrior grow here, you kind of think that, hey, this looks like this feels like Brynjolf, just an unstoppable Viking warrior that's going to run Roughshot. Of course, obviously not the same. This Rune Warrior much scarier than Brynjolf in terms of stats and whatnot, but we are going to see a lot of cleanup here. We are going to see Rusty Hooks come down with the Temple, so does kind of indicate that maybe Cody had a Windy Hooks deck as well, except maybe focusing more on buffs. As you can see by the Rune Warrior, certainly working out well for him. And there you see the Yarm Giant, again, trying to attempt to block, but it's not going to matter since Brynjolf can just, not Brynjolf, since Rune Warrior feels like Brynjolf, but Rune Warrior can continue to punch back this, whatever unit that Mary decides to throw in front of the castle there, and of course just do 2 damage to chip continuously. And we saw the units, or at least we are seeing a bunch of other units as well coming out. Flux, Salahar Rider, Rusty Hook. Again, continuing to kind of clean up here. And here we see pretty much the nail in the coffin for the game. It doesn't matter what Mary can do here. It doesn't really matter. You see that he's basically got no units. Yarm comes out as the only unit, but not enough to kind of use Phantom Strike. So I do like what happens here. Flux, I believe, decides to come up, right, hit the rat. Rusty Hooks moves Yarm out of position to allow the Rune Warrior to come in and deliver the final blow to Castle. And yeah, just a big boy with a big punch to end off game number 3. And again, kind of bringing back the spirit of Brynjolf, the old unstoppable Viking warrior that used to be around back in the day. So yeah, it kind of just felt a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit nostalgic for me in that sense. But still, ultimately a great match for Cody. I do think that was a big win for the mirror matchup. I do think maybe things would have gone differently if Mary had the hard removal for it. I mean, we didn't see any of that drawn throughout the game. No execution, no murder. And we did see the debuffs kind of already get played. You know, the onslaught on the Dwarven Sharpshooter, the disable didn't really do a whole lot, even though that was from the Banshee. But, you know, things happen. Of course, sometimes you just have to let Rune Warrior grow into this big, big beast. With that being said, I think that's going to do it for game number 3. Again, big congrats to CampingCody. I think now it's time to wrap up this video. And with that being said, that's going to do it for this edition of TV Commentary. Let me know what you guys thought of the match. Leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And write down that if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed. Share it with friends, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already or are new here. Best way that you can support us on the channel here, after all, by clicking that subscribe button at no extra cost to you. And yeah, with that being said, guys, until next time, stay gaming.